I I made it. The idea was to create like a holy scroll, like this text of a text of language.
Yeah.
And I had one of my friends, she came over and she was like, "Oh my gosh, can I sit on it?"
Oh yeah.
And I was like, "Yeah, go ahead, sit on it." And she sat on it and she meditated and she told me it was like really incredibly powerful. And then I had her lay down across it. And then I had multiple people lay down across it. I had all my
Nice.
friends lay on this painting and they all told me like the craziest shit.
I can
Like
imagine.
like um feeling like they're being lifted up into like outer space, like having an almost out of body experience on it, or being pulled down, really grounded, because there's actually two directions on the painting. So there's a direction that leads you upwards and a direction that leads you downwards. So like this is the
Oh, I
earth.
see.
Like if you want to be more grounded into the earth, you would put your head right here.
Wow.
Or if you want to be like more uplifted, you would put your feet here. And then the top, that's the top.
Incredible. That makes so much sense.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's really cool. And I had all these people give me like these incredible experiences that I didn't even know were possible. And it was so affirming in terms of it's not all in my head, which can happen a lot with this kind of work. You think that, oh, you're making it up. Oh, you're just following some trend and it's not grounded in any kind of reality. But the deeper that you go, the more truthful it becomes to you and the
Sure.
closer you get to your own guidance system and your own internal truth. Because this work for me, it's really helped me strengthen my intuition and strengthen like my sense of knowing that I am on the right path for my lifetime. Like
Absolutely.
sometimes I get really meta, and like it happens. I don't know, a few times a year or something, and I just feel like I'm like living some very archetypal journey that like all the pieces are coming together in just the right way, like in terms of life situations, partners, like business opportunities, the kind of work I start to make, it all like lines up.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can see like the spiral and stuff, um, like the journey that I'm on here.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like confirmation that you're doing what you're planned, let's say, to do here as a soul reincarnated, and that this work is seen by the people who are able to understand you, support you, walk with you on this journey. So,
Mm.
um, I would like to hear from your own perspective, who are you? How are you presenting yourself as these days? Like, for example, you're going to an event, people see you for the first time. Who are you?
Mm. Give me a moment. I'm eating a piece of chocolate.
Yeah.
Um, that's a really hard question.
Well, you go to events and you have to introduce yourself, so it's kind of like a thing that we're facing in daily life, always
Well,
reintroducing
I
ourselves.
mean, first, like the most basic thing is that I'm a brand designer. So I help people find their voice and share themselves in a way that feels really truthful to them.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a lot of like when I'm given the opportunity to work this way, right? Because not everybody is going to resonate with this kind of work. Like I'm able to craft experiences for people that are deeply resonant with like their true selves.
Mm-hmm.
Like um so I came across this concept recently about branding as a kind of glamour magic.
Okay.
So it's like you're putting on a costume, right? Like in terms of your design and how you're expressing your voice and your vision, you're putting on this suit that you're going to grow into. So it's the idea of like attuning people to where they want to go and making sure that all of their visual communications follow that direction. So it's a lot of back and forth, figuring out exactly how um, the person can feel comfortable with this work and trust me that I'm doing something that feels really aligned for them. And like I love it. It's super fun. It's like I'm a makeup artist, but for a business. Like,
Wow.
or not like something more than that, you know. It's like it's therapy almost a lot of the times, because people really need to sit with themselves and figure out like what it is that they want.
Hmm. Yes. Tell me a little bit about the process that you work with people, with organizations, because I think branding is quite intimate work, whether it's with an organization, corporation, brand that exists, or with a new brand, or with a person. Um, how do you approach it?
Well, first there's a conversation,
Mm-hmm.
and like I need to see that that person is willing and that they resonate with me and how my brain works.
Mm.
And there's a questionnaire process, there's a getting to know the person process, like making sure that we're really aligned. So there's multiple phases of alignment and before we get to the design work,
Mm.
because if there's not a clear thought or a clear strategy, like nothing's gonna really land the way that you want it to land. So we like we go through like a little workshop, a strategic process, like connection, really feeling into yourself, getting to know like who you are and where you want to go, and really tuning into that frequency. And then you know the classic like building mood boards, um, building like a framework for strategy and communication, making sure that the right keywords are there, making
Mm-hmm.
sure that person is really secure and how they want to be seen. And then we move on to design. And then design it helps like encapsulate all of that initial work.
Yeah.
And then it creates this system that feels really true to the person and that's aligned with their their vision, their goals, their mission, their identity. Like it fits like a glove rather than having to like piece a bunch of things together and not really being sure, and working with a designer who just like does what they're told. Like that's the thing, there's different levels of this kind of work, and like when you start getting into the higher levels of branding, you need to adopt like it's a storytelling framework.
Mm.
It's a different state of being
Yeah.
because you're becoming stronger version of yourself through it, and you're refining your frequency, and you're stepping into your power. However, you might see that power, like whether you're doing branding. A lot of the time, people do branding because they want to step into more of a leadership role. So they want people to see them a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
And to do that, you need to trust the people that you work with and make sure that you have the right team and not hiring yes people.
What do you mean?
Like somebody that just agrees to everything and doesn't have their own sense of self and knowledge, and you know what I mean? Kind of like,
Well, you mean that they would do or say anything to please their client?
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes that can lead to a waste of money because the work isn't resonant, and it's not really touching the heart of the matter.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you hire somebody that just agrees with everything that you're saying, it becomes an echo chamber. And so it's like you hire a professional opinion when you hire branding.
Right. Totally. Totally. Have you ever refused to work with a client? Or
Yes.
Okay, what was the case? If you're open to share, I'm curious.
Well, it's saying that that person isn't ready. Like when